suppose so.
I could be drawing something else.
Yeah, you can draw.
Okay.
My account name is Multitail. Yeah, my account creation was on February 24th, 2017.
I hope the Wi-Fi connection will be okay. Will be better for today. But I don't have much luck. Oh. Okay, so I tried to stream this before, but I had no such luck because of my Wi-Fi. So just I miss a bit of the next. Oh god, I keep peeking. Okay. I streamed this, the next part of the story that I missed, but God, I am really tired. But yeah, anyways, I played I streamed before this. Oh, I tried to stream the next part, but it seemed like it didn't work too much. I keep peeking by accident. So a bit of the story is just already. So there will be a bit of a mist. The thoughts not coming to my mind. Yeah. Anyways, part of the story is missing, but go find. The demo is free, so go play it. Yeah, so around this time, our character, it's next day, and their choice whether to, if they like waking up early or not. For me, when I was a lot younger, I did like to, on Saturdays anyways, to wake up like at the crack of dawn, sitting in the dark watching TV, till Pokemon plays at like 8. So I like waking up early. Everything felt different when the morning was just beginning, and you got to relax in the quiet space for a little while. The unpacking wouldn't be started again until a lot later. That's why your mommy said when you were brushing your teeth. But now you both only had what was already laid out. The food around to eat was still just the same stuff from yesterday. It was what you had for breakfast already, and you could see your mommy packing it into a brown paper bag for lunch too. That was the last of the preparation you had to do for your school. You were pretty sure your mommy really wanted to be the one to get your supplies for the day together. She put stacks of stapled papers, a notebook, your pencil case, a ruler, and more into your backpack. Mommy had kept the pack on the middle seat of the car to make sure it would always be right there when it was time to use it for class. If it had gone missing, maybe you would have had to carry your school stuff in a cardboard box the same way you had to bring everything else you own to this place in big boxes. I'm just gonna skip ahead. This is... Oh wait, hold on a minute. Why is it like this? Okay then. Wow. Okay then. What? Let's skip the story. Guess they already had this. What? Oh, the front door has been knocked on. Means probably our neighborhood, the neighbor kids coming to pick us up and walk us to school together. Guess already at this hour. Your mommy left your lunch bag incomplete on the tabletop went to investigate the knocking. Save. Look how cute the little icon is. I wonder if this I'm gonna like see some school setting stuff. You got up to see too. You press your hands into the shiny stuff bedding underneath you as you lean onto your feet to get off the floor. You were able to join Mommy before she opened the door. She pushed the long handle down with a click and tugged the door forward. It squeaked open. You glanced ahead, squinting your eyes to adjust from the complete blindness inside to the pale dawn outside. Standing tall on the welcome mat, seeming totally at home at your home, was a new friend he had met the day before, Mr. Chilin. Still don't know how to pronounce his name. Still got. Let me look it up again. Pronunciation.
Chew.
Okay, Chew's fluffy hood was tucked snugly on his head. He didn't usually do that, at least based on how much he knew was usual for him. Maybe it was because the air was somewhat even more skin-prickling cold in the morning that it was during the day or evening. Then it was during the day or evening. He shuddered just from the wind coming in through the opening. When he caught sight of you there, a plucky grin took over his face. He plopped onto the balls of his feet, getting near and tall, and cheered a greeting. Good morning. Seeing who it was, you. Scoot past your mom. Usually shove past your mom. No place you shift behind your mom. Your place enough to hide behind your mommy's legs. So then get a guest. Didn't place when it gets too late to go back to it. Stay there to greet the guest. Chew's smile was as bored as ever as he took a full step into the side, so he was stuck right in front of you instead of Mommy. Well, a lot of saves left. Hi. Chew stayed put in the new place he took, but angled his head up and over to give his focus to your Mommy. I'm Mr. Chulin, your new neighbor, in the same age as Miss Mika Murdoch. Two of us met yesterday. Ah, yes, I've been anticipating getting to meet all the neighbors. And now I'm even more sure of that. The people here are so polite. Chew straightened out the line of his bandana with both hands, giggling cheekily. You're right, we're very considerate on the street. Now, I should introduce myself as well. I'm Miss Murdoch, Mika's mother. It's nice to meet you. May I speak with Mika, Miss Murdoch? There's something I want to talk to her about. Thoughtfully, your mommy glanced towards you. Drifted towards you. Without looking back at him, your mommy replied, "That will be fine. I'll finish getting your bag ready, Mika. You two can chat." Chew clasped his hands together firmly. Thank you very much. What you say? I still don't know if I pronounced his name correctly. Mommy let out a content smile. Rest on her face as she walked back inside the house, leaving you alone with Chew. You looked back at him eagerly. It was only the morning, and something good was already happening. What did you want to say? Chew didn't beat around the bush with you. He probably didn't with anyone. He came right out with what he had in mind. Want to walk to school together? It's our day. Will there be a school scene? He squared his shoulders and held out a hand, counting off points on his fingers. We're going to the same place in the same grade. There's a good chance we'll even be in the same class. Going together wouldn't make everything so easy. He stared at him with wide eyes. Okay. Enjoy the answer. I'll just go with the giants, okay. Alright! He popped an enthusiastic double thumbs up. And guess what? What else is the reason for why we should walk together? Why? I really love the cute icon. His gaze got sharper, but it didn't feel scary at all. The glance was like a fancy cut jewel rather than a pointy weapon. It's 'cause I want you to be there. Aw, how cute! So, yep, I was thinking. So, yep, I think it made a lot of sense that we'd go together. With his hands in his pocket, he shifted the whole top half of his body diagonally over to one side, the tilt of his head really showing off the bend in his self-pleased smile. Oh! He flung an arm back out and arced a finger across the air in both of your faces. It might have been to stop you before you could say anything, or to keep himself from forgetting what else you wanted to talk about. And it wouldn't be just this. I'm gonna keep going down the cul-de-sac to Granny's house so I can ask Tamarack next. So that's it. What do you think about all three of us walking together? It's a good plan, right? Teasingly. You're not feeling maybe if you have anything figured out. You swung your hands behind you and you spoke out again. I'll get my backpack and tell Mommy we're going. This is so cute. Cool, I'll wait for you here. Oh, cool, I'll wait here for you. You parted with Drew for a second, but didn't bother closing the door. The sound of your feet against the floor was the only noise in the huge house. You couldn't have snuck up on Mommy even if you tried. Each step you took brought you closer, and it made a smile on her face grow larger, but she didn't get distracted from her job. Her gaze stayed stuck to the counter. Mommy placed one more paper into your backpack and snapped the plastic clasps on the top flap closed. With that secured, she promptly picked the bag up by the loop handle. She lowered herself down to your height by bending her knees low. Then she offered the backpack over to you. Excellent timing, dear. Here, you're set to go. It was nice and light when you took the pack from her. It wouldn't last. Soon you'll have extra school books to bring around with you. What happened with our guest? Did he leave? You answered the question while looping one arm around the other into the wide openings of backpack straps. He's still out there. Drew wants me to walk to school with him. Can I go? You shifted your grip to the dangling ends of the armbands, then gave them a soft tug to tighten the straps, fully securing the bag against you. He came over to ask you that? Talk about convenient. The young Mr. Lin must know the way far better than I do. That was exactly what you thought she said. You could count on her to understand. As she smiled, her face lit up softly like the early morning sunshine outside. Mommy pinched the tip of your chin between her thumb and her pointer finger. Enjoy your first day. There's only one of them per year. Maybe she was right. You would look at what was nice instead of what wasn't. Anything could happen for all you knew. It might be good. She let you go in order to place her hands on her thighs, needing to balance her as she stiffly straightened up to her full height. The mommy folded her arms proudly, watching you leave for the day. You were going ahead without her. Through the open door, you could see Chiyu waiting patiently on your porch still. He turned his back to the house instead looking around the neighborhood. You came to his side and that caught his attention. But his gaze didn't go to yours. It went right to the backpack he had on. You grinned hopefully. I know, Mommy, it's okay. He smacked his hands together enthusiastically. Alright, time to go. You know, Mika, it's been forever since I've gotten to walk to school with a friend. You perked your ears, going super alert. You said you were friends. thought you would, but it was totally different to have him talk about it just like that. I knew you liked me, you joked. A smirk went across his whole face. Chiyu was full of certainty. I do, and I knew that you liked me. Chiyu basically swiveled all the way around on his heel. He firmly planted his feet into the floorboards of the porch and to close out his move. Then he calmly strode forward and leaped over the little steps to get onto the ground. Chiyu had places to be and nothing was going to stand in his way. He's pretty dramatic. Happily, you went along with him down the stone steps, past the fence, and onto the neighborhood sidewalk. It took less than a minute to go around the bendy curve of your neighborhood that led to the least pointy, least colorful home on the street. Tamarack's house, also her Omi and old pa's house. Chiyu and you wandered right into the uncharted territory of their porch. Chiyu tapped out a rhythmic set of knocks. Chiyu brought his arms to the side, shook his head to readjust the way his hair fell around his shoulders, and positioned himself squarely in the center of the entryway. The old door began to jingle in its frame like it was shivering from the cold. It was shivering cold from being outside this early too, but someone was fiddling with a doorknob on the other side. Then the door swung open with a chattering yank and a gust of flowery perfumed air coming out from deep inside the house. Still clasping the handle, leaning her head against the wood, Tamarack was there to greet you. She had her bag and scarf on for the day ready. Hello. Good morning, Tamarack. Her eyes popped open. She had a look to see who was at her who was saying hello, but she could tell who it was from that answer. Tamarack's tone of voice lightened even more. Chiyu and Mika? You're both here? Hi. Hold up. Well, the clothes looks a lot different. It's cute though. Hey. Chiyu kept his very proper pose and offered Tamarack the same invitation he'd given you. I'm glad we didn't miss you. We're all going to the same school, right? It would be cooler to walk as a group. Want to? You're all going to the same school, right? Nah. She blinked rapidly many times and all in a row. In the soft pink light, her eyelashes looked almost like shimmering dragonfly wings. Wow, okay, I wanna come. She twisted almost the whole way around, turning her back to you. You could just barely glimpse the darkened hall behind her. Tamarack then leaned over, bending her knees, and powerfully shouted into the depths of the grey house. I'm going to school now. Her loud, high-pitched call echoed through the hallway. Have a good day, young lady. Tamarack hopped forward. It was small, but that was all it took to go from being in her house to being outside in the outside world. She tugged the door knob with her to slam the door shut. I'm ready. The quickness of all of that was too much, and Chiyu needed a second to catch up with it. But when he did, he chuckled. Perfect. Chiyu lazily settled his hands on his hips. His eyes moved way off to the side, even though there was nothing special to see that way. Guess we've actually gotta go to class. Yeah. She pumped her fist up and down in the air in a pattern that matched the pace of her yes. It's cool. Here we go. Yeah! All clustered together, you, Chiyu, and Tamarack trampled off the white wooden porch. The full set of cul-de-sac kids hit the road again. The trip was almost the opposite of last time. The sun was coming up instead of going down, and you were leaving the neighborhood instead of going back to it. But that wasn't what really stood out to you. It was a little bit amazing you already could compare it to a last time. And you could guess that this journey wasn't them that additionally with him wasn't gonna be the actual last time it ever happened. It just became the last time it happened before the new next time. First part of the school trip wasn't hard. There was only one way out of your neighborhood unless someone hiked out into wherever the woods went. That would be cool. Maybe you'll be able to do that someday. Your actual path forward had you rush past the forest folk that originally led you to meeting Jiu and Tamarack. But you weren't stuck with the same limits as before. This morning you moved right on by without ever stopping to check what might be hidden away back there. Now, you travel even further. The woods crowded in closer and closer around the one road that led out. Till suddenly structures began to appear in between the bushes. The thick overhang of leaves pulled apart to show the sky. The world unfolded around you. Sunshine climbed mountains to just barely tickle your cheeks, while the stars still clustered against your back. You were right in the center of a windy mountain path. It flowed over the uneven ground, blanketing every small bump and bend like a black river. Along the streets, huge wooden poles rose into the sky in a row that rivaled the trees, stretching phone lines and reaching branches wove the whole town together. This making felt so long. Even though Golden Grove was a lived-in place with man-made things, the vast wilderness was just as much put to the residents as their real people neighbors. From when I lived from when I was small to now, I live in like a humid place which is pretty flat, which is on a peninsula, so there's not really a lot of like hilly roads and not many trees. Never had truly an autumn season where the leaves turn from green to like red and orange and yellow. It's just forever summertime because it's humid. Oh, and I never walked to school either because my mom was a bit paranoid I would be hit by a car. Like the high school that I went to is like just like 2 blocks down from my house, but my mom made the effort to drive us to school even though me and my siblings could have easily just walked. And the times that the only time we were able to actually go walk to and from is like only from school to home. There was even like a one time where my mom was actually home that she could have picked us up, so like I didn't get the text message that I got out of school, and like me and my sister already walked halfway, so we just told our text our mom to that we're just a block away from home. She still ended up picking us up, but she thought like school closed a bit early, but it wasn't. Me and my sister was just that fast of a walker. And she just didn't believe us that we were that fast, but the thing is, the difference between her and us is that we don't wear heels. That's why we were able to walk fast. Anyways, Tamarack trampled over the grass, swishing her arms in full-length swings, in front of her. She didn't get anywhere near the tarmac. Jiu's stride was a lot breezier. He took the spot in the line closest to the road and didn't even check for cars. His eyes were aimed at the now viewable sky. You ended up somewhere in between them. Now this scenery, I will never see this kind of scenery where I live. But I saw the scenery when I went to like South Carolina to visit my cousin and work for his stepfather. This is like, it surprised me like how many trees there were, and like how close like there was a forest in her neighborhood. Where like my aunt mentioned that our other cousin found like a skull, so he cleaned it and I guess brought it home. If Tamarack was a swoosh and Jiu was a breeze, you were a whirlwind. You rushed around, trusting the the angle of your head and taking in every new thing that surrounded you. All that air went out the window when Chiu started moving his hands around even more than Tamarak. He frankly stuck his fingers in and out of each of his pockets while poking his tongue out at the corner of his mouth. It was kind of worrying to you. What if he forgot something important? Maybe then you could lend him whatever he was looking for. Ha! It was a paper. It wasn't his special tan paper. The thing Chiu grabbed was a thick folded packet of white printer paper that was covered all over in tiny inked words. You could instantly tell what it was. That many papers staped together with that many little words on them only ever came from one place: school. Chiu held it close to his face. He had his nose completely in what was basically a book, but for some reason he started to talk to you in Tamarak. Which room did you get? For a second, Chiu peeked over the pages to look at the both of you. Who's your teacher? Tamarak thought hard, but she didn't find an answer in her head. She squished her hand underneath the flaps of her bag without unbuckling it. She had to find her own papers. I'm gonna check. Your mommy put a big packet of papers into your backpack. You just need to find it. While you rooted around for it, Chiu shouted, "Here it is. Room 24. Mrs. Murray." Chiu used his thumbs to bend the papers down. They stopped hiding his face, and you could see he was stunned. Tamarak waved her packet in the air in a crinkly flurry. "Me too." "Great. What about you, Mika? Is it Mrs. Murray 3? You yanked the papers from your back and spit with the huge chunks of long words that explained the school procedures and student enrollment. Looking for you, the part you need to know was smack dab on the front. Teacher, Mrs. Murray, room number 24. We're gonna be stuck together forever, you joked. Your mommy had given you the papers. Chiu probably got his from his mom and dad, and Tamarak from her Omi and Oppa. Despite being kind of different, the papers were all the same. A smoke settled on its regular spot on Chiu's face. All according to plan, if he somehow could have planned it. We're roommates. He didn't need the packet for anything else, so he stuffed it into his pants pocket with a shrug of one shoulder. Does he just stuff all his school supplies in that big jacket of his? Well, Tamarak has her messenger bag, and I have just a regular backpack. There's only 3 5th grade classes we could have been in. When Chiu made sure it was deep enough to not just fall out, he brought both his hands into an even bigger shrug and chuckled too. But Mrs. Murray, I almost made it without her being my teacher. It was close. Tamarak peered into his face with wide eyes leaning over so much that he almost walked into her. She didn't have to say what her question was with words. Chiu got it. Don't worry, she's nice. She's the best teacher for you too. Chiu made a serious and reassuring okay sign with his fingers, but in an instant it snapped into a pointing gesture. And you're probably gonna be shocked, but Mrs. Murray isn't just a teacher. She's a mom. She has kids that are just her kids, not students. Wow. Guess I'll just leave it like this. Missed. I don't want to know what it's like The only situation I kind of known, but that was like back in elementary school. Well, one of my classmates was like a kid, but our teacher wasn't his mom. It was like the other teacher, so I guess there won't be any like conflict of interest. So I never asked his opinion on what it was like having a teacher for a mom. His mom being like literally nearby. You stared at the two of them for how big a deal they made it. Okay. Well, did I already say the... Yeah, I didn't. Okay. Okay. But now I know where we're really going. I can bring us right to the door. The extra burst of confidence got you to take a few long strides ahead of you in Tamara, keeping his chin high. Tamara bounced across the grass, kicking her knees high to catch up. She didn't let him keep the lead he took. You happily went up to them. You went forward to get back in the middle of the row. You were greeted with grins from both of them. Your steps came back into a steady rhythm between the three of you. I'm not gonna stream for long because I'm just really tired. That break I took in like June kind of messed up my sleeping schedule. Chiyu, do you know anything about my house from before I moved here? You know, I'm not sure. It was empty for a long time. Chiyu gazed upward, tilting his chin way up high to try searching the back of his mind. Maybe there was somebody there when I was really little. I don't know them though, or where they went. He lowered his gaze again so he could offer you a grin and lifted his shoulders instead. I kind of thought it was gonna be abandoned forever. Tamarack burst into squeaky chuckles. Omi and Opa talked about the same thing when they have coffee. Oh. That was interesting. You learned something new. The longer the walk went on, the more Tamarack's gaze was pulled into the forest edge along the road instead of what was right in front of her. Her steps drifted unevenly. You couldn't blame her. You'd done the same during the trip a few times. Why is the music conflicting? Anyways, but you weren't the only one who noticed her focus. Hey, so it's kind of funny how both of you like the woods that much. It's the only nice place I've seen here so far. She said it in the plainest way possible, and the words still made Chiyu gasp hard enough to cough. Have you been places other than the forest? Yeah, lots. They're not good. I can't believe it. It's not that big of a deal. Chiyu shook off the shock Tamara's statement hit him with. He turned his cheek to the front as he rolled his shoulders. He was winding up for a comeback. I guess I can give you one thing. There is a pretty special kind of fun. There is a pretty special kind of fun that in all my years of living here, you can only ever have out in these very woods. Nothing, nowhere else. You can have out in these very woods. Nowhere else. Blech. Really? What is it? He cast a reel and Tamarack was hooked on it. She instantly became invested in whatever mystery Chiyu had up his line. I'm not gonna tell you. What? Tamarack shrieked in a tone so high it scared away a bird who was minding its own business in the tree above. It was hook, line, and sinker. The beating of its wings fluttered through the air, matching Chiyu's giggling. He put a hand to his chin and lowered a mysterious glance at Tamlak. One day you'll understand. Probably. And that was really it. He closed up his lips, folded his arms, and settled into not explaining for the rest of the walk. Tamara couldn't accept that, or couldn't get the hint. She pestered him with the passion in her words getting stronger every time she repeated them. Tell me, tell me, tell me, tell me, tell me the thing, tell me the special thing to you, tell me the special thing. Eh. I guess maybe this one. It was too funny. You could watch that all day. The conversation of Tamlak's attempt to squeeze Chiyu for information and the snickers that escaped from Chiyu continued while you head towards your goal. Down the road, somewhere over a crosswalk, you pass the main street, taking a turn at the corner. That was when the wildest building you've seen so far came into view. There had been taller ones, cause that one only had 2 floors, but there was a lot of those floors. North Acres Elementary School. The name made sense. You wondered exactly how many acres it was. Dozens of other kids were pouring out from a few different paths and mixing together under the front arches above the giant door. You tried to stand up straight, wanting to do things right. When you went through the door, sticking even closer to your group than on the walk there. Inside was a long hall with different doors and a staircase on the side. It was shiny and dull, like it had been cleaned so hard for so long it made everything even more worn down than normal. Oh, that's cute. Poster board with a bunch of paper sheets tacked align the walls. Tacked on lines the walls. Nobody was even looking at them. The message they had might never have been read. The floors had a checkered tiled pattern. Some of the kids around made sure to only walk on one of the colors and avoid the other. And it was loud. There was too much sound from the crowds for the hall to hold. It echoed around and made it even louder. This place was your school now. Chiyu tapped your shoulder and pointed with his other hand. You figured that was his way to say you had to keep going without having to yell so you could hear. 3 of you passed past the other students, making sure you didn't get separated. Step by step, you climbed upwards and forwards. Chiyu waved a hand towards the right door when you reached the top. You arrived for the first day of class right on time. The little bit of cold you brought inside the school on the tip of your nose and over your cheek had finally drifted off your face. It was nice and warm when you went into the room. Your brand new class, 5th grade, room 24. Smelled like people hard at work. Cut construction paper, crayons, glue. Anything could be made with that. There were tons of leaves stuck to the different colored walls, climbing around the windows, hanging from shelves, and sneaking out from behind boards where some of those things could be made. Kids sat together in close groups. The desks were pushed to make bigger tables. There was just one chair by itself, right at the front, or the back if the way in was the front door. Tamlak took in a loud breath of waxy air. Well, I thought it was gonna be ugly. It was okay. It was just a classroom. Chio shrugged his backpack. Oh, he doesn't have a backpack. Chio shrugged his backpack off to the ground. When it hit the ground, a puff of air came out. The not totally zipped, topped. Nothing in the place caught his eye, in a good way or a bad way. It was like nothing around him existed. Chio just watched you and Tamak look. He chuckled at the faces you both made. I just got a disco notification from this PNG group I'm in. The classes look the same for every room and every grade and every year. Oh, it wasn't that he couldn't see what you did. It was that he'd already seen it 110 times or more. Gio knew the school as well as he knew everything else in Golden Grove. He kicked his backpack behind him to be up against the wall, never glancing down. There were already a bunch of other bags there, sat one by one along the far side of the room. I slightly remember my first time going to kindergarten. It was pretty okay. I think I was actually a bit blindsided. They were almost completely hidden under a row of hooks that had coats and jackets and stuff cluttered over them in stacked piles. There weren't enough holders for all the layers people bought. You're pretty lucky this is your first time here, but you're only gonna have to do it once. This is your first time here, but you're only gonna have to do it once. Oh, because we're in 5th grade. We're gonna graduate and go to a different school next year. We'll all be new kids then. Oh, he just moved his jacket. He talked while he put his arms out of the jacket you always seen him wear so far. He tossed it on the top of a round lump of other coats with the hook somewhere below it all. Tamarek waited, watched, and then she tugged at the end of her scarf to undo the knot it was wrapped in. She talked to. I told you this place was weird and never changed. That made you at him. The sound was almost exactly like the noise his backpack made a minute ago. The school is different than the Tamarek. Tamarek didn't say more words against that. She just got on her tippy toes to sling her untied scarf over Chio's jacket, building the mountain of stuff on the one little hook even higher. Oh no. Yeah, my elementary school didn't have those, because I mentioned before, we live in a tropical humid, so we end up wearing coats indoors too, or hanging them on a chair. Chio shoved his bandana deep into one of his pockets and lifted up his other shoulder. You're right, that class is always the same. Seeing Chio without his fluffy jacket felt like seeing a lion without its mane. He folded his arms high across his chest and gazed upon what he was starting to get was his kingdom. He had all the pride of a lion even without the jacket. I need to get up quickly to grab a drink. My throat is dry. Okay then. Though Chiyu acted like that was it for getting ready, he didn't take his gloves off. Was he gonna wear those to class? Tamak held tight to the strap of her bag. It for sure wasn't going with the rest of the packs. That meant she was definitely already done with the putting your stuff away part of getting to school. Tamak's overall were the most overclothes she had once the scarf was off. No coat or a cool poncho or anything. The overalls were kind of short too. They didn't cover her whole legs. Her ankles had long socks and yellow rubber rain boots to keep them warm, but you had to wonder if she didn't feel cold the same way most people did. What happened if I took off my butt? And if I save here? Nope, I still have my butt on. I think I'll just leave my stuff on, which is, I guess, my giant butt. Good morning and welcome, students. Glance over your shoulder. In the open doorway was another new person for you to have. To know. I get cold really easily, even now. Since I'm sitting on the air vents, I'm wearing like a jacket. Her braids didn't match a few of the kids here, but she wasn't gonna be sitting in the desk with them. She was twice as tall as everybody else in the room. That had to be the teacher, Mrs. Murray. Her soft brown eyes looked down over you and your neighbors while she tapped a finger against her freckled, speckled face. The pattern on her skin was almost like scars, if the sky was light at night and the stars were the darker part. Her rosy pink lips parted into a smile. She inclined her chin toward Chiyu. Nice to see you, Mr. Chiyu-lin. This will be a good year. Yeah. Chiyu stretched the word out as far as it could go, and at the same time he opened his arms wide. He turned his head away too. He had the kind of tone your mommy would have when she had old work friends over, and they asked if they could set her up on a blind date. Oh my god. Damn. Squeakily cheerful and not me. He was trying to be nice, but wasn't trying that hard. They, Fred always kid MCs. Not holding back. Though when his eyes were rolling away, his gaze passed over you and got stuck there. Why are you looking at me? A mischief grin tugged the corner of his mouth at the sound of his voice went from off-key to chiming. Maybe. Mrs. Murray pencil pointy eyebrows lifted. She blinked one time and then her own smile grew. It was shared with you and Tamak next. Hello, I'm your teacher, Mrs. Murray. Am I right to say that you're Tamak Bowman and Mika Murdoch? Yeah. You just stared at the grown-up talking to you. Tamak bobbed her hands in the air and twisted in place to swing her bag so that it hung behind her back. I'm Tamak. She followed that really short dance break by sticking her finger right in your face. That's Mika, she's a girl. That is so great. All the Chibi's also pretty cute too. Mrs. Murray spoke sweetly in a way that was just nice. It wasn't surprise or relief to find out the answer. She probably didn't need to ask to know who you were. Teachers knew a lot. For sure, like on files, they also like the students' photo too. If you'd be so kind, would you mind coming over to my desk over there in the far corner? I'd like to talk to you two before class begins. Okay. Tamagotchi finally lowered her hand back down to her sides. She still bumped her bag around by pushing it up and down with her butt. It clattered loudly and Mrs. Murray pretended not to hear. What do you need to talk to us about? I want to see if I can help you a bit. Does that work? Oh, right. Thank you, both of you. She just slightly with a hand for you to come and left the doorway. Chiyu turned his head to follow the teacher. More and more of his dark hair eclipsed the view of the rest of him as she walked away. When you lost sight of his face, they had many frown on it. Hey, I lost my third thought about that. I'm getting a bit of some backstory. Oh, do you? After she was really gone, he swung back towards you and Tamagotchi. She was smoking. Oh, then. Good luck out there, geez, thanks. He tipped over on one foot and bent his body way down. His other leg kicked into air. He could balance better than a flamingo. Chiyu slipped a hand under his jacket on the hook and also under Tamagotchi's scarf, which was still on top of it, and dug around in the fabric. He didn't come out empty-handed. He got a hold of his favorite notebook and a pencil. Chiyu slowly lifted his chest up and brought his one hovering foot down to the earth again. That whole thing was graceful, but he followed it by wildly waving his notebook goodbye at you. And a paper fell out when he did. Tamagotchi trying to talk, but too fast, so none of it was real words. She reached her arms to graspingly, like she could pick him up and plant him back where he dropped his face. That didn't work either. Except for Ray on light feet carefully and joining up with one of the groups at the desk. They all raised their head and waved when he arrived. He was gone and the teacher was waiting. Tamagotchi squinted her dark red eyes tightly. She directed her gaze towards you because it wasn't like anyone else in the room could understand her. He gave her a look back. Get up and you said with a grin. This is gonna be a long however long it is. Hey yo, you dropped it, so I'm gonna look at it. Pick up the paper and peek at what it said. You made a beeline to the tan paper on the dark blue carpet and snatch it off the ground before someone could step on it, or it could be blown away and get lost in the middle of a forest. Before putting it in your pocket, he read over the top side and flipped it over to see the back. It was a list of food and other things. Maybe he was trying to remember stuff to get when he went to the store with his parents. Tucked it away in your pocket. That was taken care of. Tamagotchi pretended to be a jack-in-the-box like she did yesterday. This time it was by bending her knees before bouncing straight. Her fluffy locks of hair shook around her round cheeks. Come on, Mika. She skipped off to the teacher's desk, all smiles. She trailed after her lead. You didn't want to be left behind. Off in the corner on the other side of the room was the teacher's old dark brown desk. At least the very top of the wood was dark. The inner part was a lot lighter. You could see that from all the tiny cuts and scratches over the surface. It was as far away from the desk as it could be. I guess that was so she could have these kind of talks without everybody else hearing the whole thing. Mrs. Murray didn't sit in the cool rolling chair that went behind the desk. She stayed in front and only leaned her back against the top edge. She got to talk to you and Tamarack gently because she didn't have to push her voice across a piece of furniture that separated students and teachers. Appreciate you coming to this meeting. I wanted to let you know a little about today, what you can expect from your first day. Why? Well, this class has a unique arrangement of the students, but you're the only two who have never attended the school before. Everyone else is simply returning after a summer break. I'd like to introduce you during roll call later. I want all the other kids to know who you are. Oh. Tamarack flicked at the buckles on her bag. They made a little clinking sound when she hit them up and a thump when they landed back down. The gaze moved around too. The meeting wasn't exciting anymore. It was gonna be so awkward, you knew it. People would stare and make faces and you have to sit there or stand there like a big weirdo while the teacher talking all about you. The face you made wasn't what any teacher would have wanted when they told their students their plans for class. Mrs. Murray could only offer promises over her plans and no proof. I'll make sure it will be alright. The kids will get it. The teacher slid her hands across the desk behind her and spread her fingers out wide. In a couple of minutes, I'll be telling the class to take their assigned seat. You'll have those spots for the rest of the year. I made a seating plan ready, but there is a bit of a wiggle room to help you get comfortable if you like. Tamarack's hand flew from a bag to her cheek. That sounded like a smack. Does that mean me and Mika get to sit together because we're neighbors and friends? Her outburst made you want to cover your face with hands too, for a real different reason. You were so nervous. Your heart wasn't gonna stop running around your chest until the teacher said if you get to be with Tamarack the whole year or not. Me. The twinkle was in Mrs. Murray's eyes when she finally said you thought she might pause on purpose to make it more dramatic. Yes, I can put you next to each other. Woohoo! It made Tamarack explode in separation. She popped up on one foot, pulling the other up near her chest. Her arms went in the air. Both of them were so dramatic. Mika, we gotta sit together. Yeah. Yes. We got something. Anything else? Tamarack and I say it to you? They were both your house neighbors. Tamarack and she had to be your seat neighbors too. Mrs. Murray was a really proper lady from what you seen. She didn't have one wrinkle on her fancy suit, but the creases suddenly appeared around her eyes and mouth after she heard that. The line spelled not again. No, I'm sorry. I'm glad you're getting along with you, but there were students who wanted to sit next to him last year and didn't get to. It's their turn now. Eyebrow went up so high you almost could have lost them. That many people wanted to sit by Chiyu. It was kind of rude to the teacher, but you had to turn your head around to look at the guy you've been talking about. Oh, he's the Mr. Popular. He was leaning over a bunch of desks from before and still talking with those other kids you didn't know. There was a big smile on his. There was a big smile on every face. You tilted your head back to where it came, but not all the way. You only moved it enough to be looking at the sign and said, at Tamak. Gaze was directed straight to you two. She gripped the straps of a bag that was weighing against her chest. So the day you moved in, it had been just the three of you in your cuddle sack. Even if the day you moved in was yesterday, it was the same group. You, Tamak, and two neighbors. But you weren't in your neighborhood anymore. On the outside of that street, Tamak was exactly like you were, and Chiyu wasn't. You and her were strangers in Golden Grove now. You didn't know the people, and they didn't know you. Chiyu had been there forever. It wasn't only that. You already learned something on your first day of school. Chiyu was popular. Everything made you sad. You weren't gonna let that change things. The three of you were still friends. That's what mattered, not what other people thought of your friends. Not looking at her didn't stop your teacher from trying to talk to you. Mika, I'm sure once you're in your seat, you'll get used to it. Soon you wouldn't want to be anywhere else. If not, you can come talk to me about it. Yes, Mrs. Murray. You didn't talk the death stuff anymore. It was gonna have to win you over on its own or not. It was gonna have to win you over on its own or not. So. Okay, it's been an hour, so I'm just gonna stop streaming from here because I'm really tired. So yeah, thank you for watching my stream. Bye.